What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Let's get over that hump day, and hopefully it's been a good week for you so far. We got a whole hell of a lot to talk with you guys about today. Well, we're going to start in the baseball world because it is still baseball season, and actually the biggest news of today and probably of the week, well, I guess depends on which team you're a fan of, but if you're a fan of the Boston Red Sox, you are ecstatic because Roman Anthony, their young star and star prospect, because he still is very early into his big league career, is extended by the Red Sox. We'll explain all of that and a whole lot more here in just a few moments. And then in Baltimore, there are a couple Orioles that are just knocking down the door in AAA to get to the big leagues. Dylan Beavers, Sam Basayo being the two. What is next for Baltimore in this whole situation? And could those guys or some other players be in the line for an extension, if you believe in that sort of thing? Then we're going to get over into some football news. And actually, it's not about what's happening on the field right now because it is training camp, and we'll see what happens. Apparently, there's a quarterback in Cleveland that's going to get an opportunity to start. But the news around the NFL is what just happened off the field, and ESPN has come to the table to really monopolize in some cases as they made a deal for NFL Network and Red Zone and the WWE. How about that? Stop traffic. We'll explain all of that and a whole hell of a lot more here on today's episode, which is brought to you by our friends over at Merit Clubs. Merit Clubs, appreciate you guys. They got some deals running, but we'll save that for a little bit down the show. In studio today with me, I'm not alone. We got Mr. B-Rad behind the sticks. Brad, how we doing?
What's up? Doing well. Yeah, the Roman Anthony signing, absolute shocker because of the term. So I can't wait to talk about that. Plus, yeah, the ESPN NFL Network thing. I got opinions. Let's just say that. So I can't wait to get started on that. But, bro, good to be here and excited for the show.
Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. And we know the O's are playing right now. And I know as we're following it up, I know who's watching pitch by pitch. He's also here with us virtually, Mr. Zach Bollinger. Bolly.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, Kobe Mayo, 3-run homer today. Good day for the Birds. Good day for Trevor Rogers so far.
It was a bomb.
Yeah, he did not get cheated. That is a certified walloped, if you will.
Yeah.
But excited for the show. I'm actually, like Brad said, the Roman Anthony stuff and then the ESPN stuff. Have a lot of opinions on that. So excited for the show. Should be a good time.
Excited for the show. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to be a channel member, click that join button. Rips Good Kids or Holy Shirts and Pants members. And a reminder for the Holy Shirts and Pants members, there will be a little Rip After Dark. That's just off the cuff. A wild Rocco DeSangro sometimes appears, but that's a way to be a little bit more intimate, and we can just kind of shoot it, and talk about whatever and however, and kind of listen to what specifically you guys want to hear and talk about. But let's do it. Let's do it. And break and scene. Roman Anthony is going to be a Boston Red Sox for a very long time now.
Yes.
And it went quickly from that Boston, when the hell are you going to call this guy up, to now people are singing the praises of the Boston front office for extending who they believe is going to be a star, and now locked him up until he's 31 years old with the club option. And for 8 years, $130 million. When you look at that math, it's a really good average when you think about superstars. Now, there's a lot of different variables to this, and we'll dissect this one by one. But the reaction part, why don't we go to a Red Sox fan first? And Jared Carabas, he did a little selfie video, and we're going to play that for you because this is how Boston fans are feeling.
Roman Anthony, 8 years, $130 million extension with the Boston Red Sox with the club option. Listen, hey, Craig, he's said some dumb stuff. He's done some dumb stuff, but he's made way more of a positive impact in the Boston Red Sox than people want to give him credit for. Garrett Crochet, one more time, Jake, one more time. Garrett Crochet trade, Garrett Crochet extension, Carlos Narvaez, the list goes on. Roman Anthony, the dude that everyone was like, oh, he's going to be the most difficult to lock up. He's going to go to free agency. There's no way they're going to pay Roman Anthony. He's just going to enjoy your 5 years because he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. He's going to sacrifice the last year of control. He's going to walk in free agency. See you later. Enjoy your 5 years with Roman Anthony. Jake, one more time, please, if you could just go. Thank you. Roman Anthony is going to be part of this Red Sox nucleus, part of the core, part of the movement, part of this championship window for the foreseeable future. He's paid. He's a star. Look at the numbers under the hood. Look at the numbers on the surface. He's a bona fide superstar. Now he's paid like one. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, Jake, if you could just run it back one more time. He is with the Boston Red Sox.
All right. You get the gist.
They're feeling great. And you know what? Why wouldn't they feel great? And shout out Jared. He's great. We're going to get him back on the show here soon. I'll actually text him about that. Maybe we can try to get him on tomorrow if he's got free time. How could you not be ecstatic if you're a Boston Red Sox fan? So initial reaction for that. You lock up a star. And I should preface that. You lock up a rising star because we don't know what he could be, but
that's why it's even more shocking because there's a huge question mark still.
There's a huge question mark, and we're going to get into this whole conversation. But Zach, let's pull up his numbers so far, Roman Anthony, to give the idea right now. So career stats for Roman Anthony: 46 games, 190 plate appearances, 45 hits for a 283 average, couple bombs, 19 RBIs, and an 828 OPS. Right. But the big thing is 46 games.
Yeah.
The Red Sox said, we've seen enough. We'll give you this money. Now, I'm going to pull up the spot track so people can understand this, okay? Because I really want to drive home the point of why some people think it's a steal, but then also why it's a risk. But the deal is you're banking that this guy is going to be what you hope he's going to be. And right here, when you look at the contract, they are eating out the arbitration years. They're done.
Yeah.
Pre-arb, other arb, done. See ya. That's 5 years that Roman doesn't have to deal with any of that. And then 3 more years where it's just he would be a free agent. And then they have that club option in 2034, which then could make him a free agent in 2035. Now, there's escalators, guys. So if he plays well and there's bonuses, the deal could get up to $230 million, I believe is the number.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
When you're looking at this, it could eventually balloon to that. And if that's 8 years, 230, that's almost $30 million a year if he hits the threshold of it. But you're asking, how the hell did they sign him? Well, the reality of how they signed him, Brad, Zach, is teams, this is a risk to do early. And not every team likes to do this. But Boston was comfortable saying $130 million. We like the trajectory of what you're doing. Here you go. Because Roman could be terrible in the next 7 years, and he's going to have $130 million. Now, here's from Roman's side, and this is what fans are probably looking at. Roman, you could have gotten more.
Yep.
Well, he's saying, I'm securing my future right now. I'm not worried about maximizing getting the $400, $500 million contract in 6 years. I'm going to secure my family and my situation, be comfortable, and he is betting on himself to be a top player at age 31 and cash in again. So, guys, however we want to spin it, Zach, and I think looking at the numbers are where it's the shocking part right now that it's so early.
Mm-hmm.
But from a fan's perspective, you're ecstatic because whether you take the deal or not, a star is going to be in Boston now. Your player is going to be there unless some unforeseeable thing happens. And that is exciting, just like we saw with Jared Carabas.
Yeah, I mean, it also, you got to take into the fact of, you talk about, okay, a star, rising star is staying in Boston because recently in Boston, you think of Mookie Betts, you think of these guys, hell now, Rafael Devers, these star players, your up and coming guys, the guys that were supposed to be those lifetime Red Sox, they didn't get this. Now Devers got the deal and we saw things happen there, but especially after the Devers saga this year. It felt once again like it was a Mookie Betts situation where it's like, we can't keep the young stars. All of a sudden you lock down Roman Anthony, who's probably the highest ceiling of their young core, which is a very talented young core. And to be honest, I think the young core had a lot to do with why Roman Anthony was willing to take this risk. You know, getting $130 million is pretty nice at his age. But still, if he goes to free agency, if he would have ignored this, he would have declined it and maybe goes back to it in 2-3 years, maybe he's getting $300 million. He's taking that risk, but I think in his mind, he gets this security. He can cash in again at 31, and he is on a very young, exciting team that he could win championships with. So from that aspect, I think it's a great deal for Roman Anthony. And then on the other side, if Roman Anthony becomes, like we're talking about, like you said, Rip, this rising star, $130 million is a steal for the Red Sox. Yes, it's a risk that he doesn't pan out to be that. But from what we've seen, from the trajectory he's on, he looks fantastic. He looks every bit the part of the face of the Red Sox. So from their perspective, from Breslow, he nailed this one. This is a fantastic deal for the Red Sox.
Unbelievable deal for Boston. And the team's humming. Like, a lot of pressure after the Devers move. And whammy, they're playing good ball. And now you secured another face of your team. Because, by the way, what Jared mentioned, and it happened this offseason, they traded for Crochet, and then they immediately extended him. And now you have an ace for your team. And, Brad, this is probably where in Baltimore, because we're looking around, and we know, at least in this region, the question that gets asked, why the hell are no Orioles being extended? And you made off air just talking, it's understandable why fans are upset because you're seeing it happen around the league.
It's absolutely understandable. Now, I will say that there's a lot of people that are talking about this, what Richard is saying right here. Sad that Gunnar, Adley, or Holiday have not been considered. If I'm not mistaken, 2 out of those 3 guys are Boris clients. Mm-hmm. And Scott Boris, when we were in winter meetings, did say that Mike Elias and Rubenstein made an aggressive offer for Gunnar. We don't know what that number is officially, but it was aggressive. And for Scott Boris to say that means something. So he has been considered. There has been consideration. There have been talks. And Adley was in that conversation last summer. So there has been that going on. The rub for me is if the Red Sox are able to get this done for a guy like Roman Anthony, and we saw this with Bobby Witt last year. Was it last year?
2 years.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, we saw these with some of these young rising stars. So my thing is it an issue with actually coming to the table and trying to negotiate, or is it just? I mean, for me, it doesn't feel like an accident that none of these guys on the Baltimore core has been signed to anything, or we haven't heard any noise at all, Boris client or not.
Yeah, and look, I think that it's a fair discussion, and this is why fans get nervous in Baltimore, because you feel like you've been burned in the past.
And we were promised that money would be spent, and it seems to be kind of like it's spent in some weird places. The O'Neill deal, for example, comes to mind.
Yeah, and that is a part of the nature of, you have to sign guys, you got to allocate money in certain places. Now, when it comes to extensions, and this is why this offseason is going to be fascinating for so many different reasons, because this last year was the first year of the new ownership being in there. Like, keep that in mind. The ownership acquired the team right before the start of the 2024 season. And so you're trying to adjust, you're trying to make that, those questions. And the Orioles still made aggressive moves. Like, they made a move like the Red Sox got for Garrett Crochet, but the difference is that the Red Sox then got Crochet and extended him. Corbin came to Baltimore, did his thing, but didn't stay here. Now, obviously, he got hurt, and that's the end of it. But it's because players have left Baltimore, I think, in the past. Manny Machado is the recent one that comes to mind, where the team was going into a rebuild at the time. That was right before this current front office came in. Orioles were out of their window of winning in that opportunity, so you started over.
Manny got traded for a box of Cracker Jacks too. So.
Well, and that's the part I think where fans are getting worried about.
Yeah,
is, well, we have these young players. Are they just going to leave soon? is it we're just going to get to this point and they're going to be traded away?
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to believe that won't be the case, but I understand because there's nothing solidified there that can change that opinion because no one has been extended so far this year. Now, let's play on both sides of this, right? And those reports too for Scott and Gunnar, I can guarantee you it is a lot more than $130 million that the Orioles offered. And I mean a lot more that was offered that is not being accepted. And we're not going to speculate and go into any of the final numbers of things, but believe me, there are conversations, but how do you get it done?
Yeah.
How do you move forward? Because for Baltimore, you haven't won a game in the playoffs yet with this core, concerning for fans. And then you haven't extended any of the players that you love. And now Adley Rutschman not playing up to his potential, which I think he's going to get back to here. But because he hasn't, that complicates a contract extension of what his value is. Now, Zach, I just looked up the Bobby Witt deal. All right. And to your point, Brad, about, well, Bobby signed this huge deal. What's going to keep him there until club option starts when he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
And it's a 3 club options from 35 to 37. So he would be 37 years old if they accepted every club option.
Is it 250, 235, something like that?
Yep. It's 288. Now
288.
here's the caveat. He also can opt out at age 31. So that will be that's in 2031. That's in 7 years. 6 years now. Bobby Witt can opt out, player opt out. So it's really 7 years, 140 million, I think was that deal on the table, or that's what's left after it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but regardless, they signed him. And that still would probably be, Zach, under the value of what people represent for Bobby Witt Jr. I think that's fair to say. But there's one other name of a player that got extended very early. And I think this is why some teams are worried about giving out the big money. Because how about the player they extended out in Seattle, in Julio, who signed a 12-year extension at age 22. And numbers-wise, for what he's getting paid, I don't know if everyone feels that he has delivered so far on that contract. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's very fair.
So I think that's where the concern's running with when you're trying to extend guys. So, Zach, as a fan, I want your honest take on it. Would you rather just to see the money be spent and an extension happen for a sensation and a feeling that, all right, there's commitment and it doesn't work out? Or would you rather wait and play the long game and hope that it comes to a decision? Because that's essentially what it is. But what's your preference?
I think for me personally, I mean, I would – a guy like Gunnar, I would love to see. I think he's kind of the exception right now because, like you said, they're trying to get Gunnar. If you think the Orioles aren't trying every waking moment, if Scott Boras contacted them right now and was like, here's the number, if you got it, they would do it. The Orioles want Gunnar long term. I think for a lot of fans right now, they just want to see money spent. And that's the thing is I think they're at the point where, Brad, like you were kind of just talking about, because of the Machado trade didn't really give them the big head start in the rebuild. It wasn't, there's still that sour taste in people's mouths of, okay, what happens when we get these star players and they leave? And the guy that, I think maybe right now should be top of the line for extensions, it's got to be Trevor Rogers right now. 1 year left on his deal. We talk about, younger guys. Yeah, that's great. If you want to help the Orioles win, it's got to be guys maybe right now closer, like the Trevor Rogers out there, closer to the end of their deal than maybe I've seen some people like, oh, get Basayo right now, sign Jackson right now. There's going to be different guys that you need to allocate that money to than just saying, okay, like you kind of said, on a whim, let's give Jackson $200 million and hope it works out. Let's give Kobe $200 million and hope it works out. I think right now, especially for the Orioles in their position, it's got to be to guys that can help, one, extend guys that are coming up on deals, and then two, allocate that money to build on this team, and maybe you wait another year or so and see if that price for Gunnar you can come to an agreement.
And I think that would be the big name. The big name, if you saw him stay, would make a lot of fans extremely happy.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's just in general around the sport, you just don't see it a ton where guys stay in one spot. So when Jackson Merrill made the decision with the Padres that he signed that extension early, people thought he could have gotten more money, but he said, I want to be here for a long time. I want to know I'm going to be here. Byron Buxton over the All-Star break, when they were saying about people leaving or coming and going, or would you waive your no trade clause? He's like, no, I signed my extension. I'm happy to be here in Minnesota. And Minnesota's whatever's going on right now there, they might be selling the team. They sold everybody.
They pretty much did sell the team.
They essentially sell the team. But they still have their franchise player.
Yeah.
I think in Baltimore, though, the question's going to be is just who, after you moved on from Cedric, who'd been here for a while, and Santander last year, business moves, and Cedric could resign. I'm just not going to hold my breath on that one. Who's a part of the long-term plan? Because at some point here, I agree that it's apples and oranges to compare the same extensions to everybody. Also, the Red Sox extended Christian Campbell earlier in the year before the season started. Now he's
back in AAA.
Yeah, like they made a gamble there, and that's not to say that he isn't going to play well moving forward. I know he's getting back on track, but that's a risk. But for Baltimore, not every player is going to sit there and go, I won't take an extension right now. Like Trevor Rogers, I think, is a fascinating one. Dean Kramer, I know people are sitting there, but Dean Kramer to me is a fascinating one because of what you have right now and the value and him being here. I would say you offer Dean a 3-year deal and you know you have someone, great. And I know people go, oh, well, we don't want that. No, like you do need pitching. We've established this.
Dean's a solid, consistent arm that, you
need solid, consistent arms.
Everybody knows he's going to blow up one inning and then settle down and be good. But you know that he's going to settle down and be good. He's going to be good for giving up 2 to 3 runs probably in a game. He'll settle down and be lights out for the rest of it. And then, like, it's just a solid, what would you say, 3, 4, 5 guy, something like that.
Yeah, he can be any of there, and he can pitch up to being a 2.
Yeah.
Dean's ceiling's high, and people hate when I say that word of ceiling. You don't go out there and shove for 7 innings and give up 1 run and do that more than once if you don't have the ceiling to do it.
Right.
Dean's problem is consistency, not ceiling. But Trevor Rogers, if you're not going to go sign the big bucks contract somewhere else, well, convince a guy how they can stay here ahead of time. That's one thing. But for the players, they're going to have to make a decision at some point here of drawing a line in the sand, because that will draw the stability for your organization. You want to build a culture, you got to have people that are going to be a part of that culture for a long time.
That's exactly right. I was just about to say that. It's like, people wanting to know and maybe even the front office is asking themselves this question too, of like, how can we get more butts in the seats? Obviously, winning cures a lot of things, but when you can have players that you as fans can kind of rally around and root for, you want to root for the whole team, but there's players there too that you want to actually root for and feel like you have some sort of connection with. And that was one of those things where I felt sad that Cedric left, because it felt as if fans really, a lot of them had that connection with Cedric. But if you don't get it done with one of these superstar guys that can somehow build a connection with the fans, how else are you going to get butts in the seats if you do have a challenging year or two in between trying to make your way towards a World Series?
There's a connection with every team. You need to feel connected. And this is probably my biggest issue. If teams are saying in markets where they don't have the money and they can't spend or whatever it could be, and they're saying, well, got to create salary caps. A salary cap's only going to work if you have a salary floor for players to actually get paid by these organizations. And then you got to get rid of the system. The reason why I think we don't see a lot more extensions around baseball from the smaller markets, well, one, you got to see what you're working with and what you're willing to do. And some people are going to argue, well, billionaires, you should be able to spend money left and right. While, yes, they have more finances to spend, there's a lot more that goes into that phrase, right? There's a lot more that goes into that phrase of how you spend, because they are controlling every facet, which includes the team, everything that involves with what's going on with the stadium, and et cetera, et cetera. Like all the business that they have to deal with, then the team's got to play well. And if the team doesn't play well, like you got a whole lot of problems. But the arbitration stuff is where players and agents get caught up on, Zach. I really think that if they could extend guys early and this wasn't such a, we're going to continue to battle back and forth for your value, I think that we would see more extensions. But why? They go, well, here's this championship window, right? We don't have to spend money on these young guys, so let's hold it off. Yeah. Let's wait. And so most players go, okay, well, I'm going to wait and I'll get to free agency. Santander did that. They didn't come with an offer that he wanted. He goes, I'm close enough now. I'm going to see what my value is. And then he got the best offer that he could ask for. He got $90 million. Now, does it look like that's working out so far in year one? No, but that's a reason why Santander wasn't extended 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
Is because the sense on both sides, the Orioles maybe gave a lower deal. Santander wanted something more. And then you finally get close to that door to kind of take a peek at what's out there. And then you make a decision. So I'm curious. I don't blame anyone for their reasonings, but for Roman Anthony, to wrap this up, Roman made a conscious choice and his family that I am going to take the security. And there is nothing wrong with what he did. And there's also nothing wrong if a player wants to go and chase the bag like Juan Soto did. Juan Soto could have fell in love with any team in any city over time. That dude turned down $440 million with the Nationals.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
And then he went to New York and he said he loved playing for the Yankees. And that still was not going to keep him from going to test the waters because he thought someone was going to pay him the most money. And a team right across in New York did.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. But for the question right now, and I know I get it for Orioles fans, when will we see another Oriole extended? Because it's been a long time. I don't have the answer for you. But could that happen in the future? Yes, but it might not be the Oriole that you necessarily expect. But you got to start somewhere. And hopefully that can lead to fans feeling a little bit better about the direction of where things are going. But you know what could help us is if you can hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And, hey, the Orioles won, by the way. They're back. Those are fine. There they are. Got to get it out there one time. And,
Trevor Rogers is fine.
Yeah.
Trevor Rogers is fine.
Yeah. And, he is fine. Keep him here. Charles makes this point. It's, it seems like a lot of people don't understand that it takes both sides to make a deal happen. That's very true. That's very true. And you know what? Also, this is no knock to any representation, but when you are a young player, your representation is even more important for what you're trying to showcase.
Yeah.
You guys see what happened, how Cal Raleigh was apparently negotiating with the Mariners, and it got to a point where Big Dumper fired his agent, and then he signed the deal. So I think in that case, it turned out Cal Raleigh's like, all right, I'm done with that. That's not my value of what I want it to be.
Right.
And he made the choice to stay there. And he's having an MVP season. So it's wild. But yes, somebody get extended. Extend, I don't even know.
Well, I'm telling you, it's going to be Trevor Rogers has to be the first extension. At this point, he's got 1 year. He's got 1 year left on his deal. You want to go prove to fans that you're willing to go try to win. That's a guy who one you traded Kyle Stowers for. And I'll tell you, if both players keep on their trajectory that they're on, it's very even trade. Very, very, very even trade. If the Orioles let Trevor Rogers walk after 2 years, a year and a half of being what he is, that once again goes back to the Orioles absolutely botched that. So for that sake, I mean, you have to extend Trevor Rogers.
Especially that Kyle Stowers has become, Thor-like, he's just become a god down in Miami.
Yeah.
But Trevor Rogers, people aren't looking at it, but the dude has been dealing, and of qualified starting pitchers, he's not qualified yet. the top ERA in all of baseball for qualified pitchers is 2.02. That's Paul Skeens, who still has a losing record, 6-8, which is still wild. But 2.02. Trevor Rogers again today, great outing. His ERA is at 1.44 over the 2+ months he's been in the big leagues this year. So almost a half the season.
That's wild.
And Trevor Rogers is pitching that well. He is a guy you must have. And you know what? If he keeps pitching this way, damn, with him and Kyle Bradish, and you go get a couple pieces next year and you have Dean, the rotation can be really good. It really, really can.
Yep.
But you got to take care of business.
Real fast. I don't think people understand. Trevor Rogers had a 1.51 ERA with his next 2 starts being against the Chicago Cubs, who are one of the most prolific offenses in baseball, and the Philadelphia Phillies, who are one of the most prolific offenses in baseball, coming off back-to-back games where they absolutely walloped the rest of your pitching staff. And both times he lowered his ERA. So he went from 151 to a 148 after the Cubs game. And you're thinking, okay, no chance he can lower it anymore. Finds a way to lower it with 6. I think Jacob Calvin Myers posted it on Twitter. This was Trevor Rogers, you could argue, his worst start this season. One of, if not the worst start. And he went 6 innings of 1-run ball against one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
He
pitched a complete game in Chicago and still lost the game.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Had a old-fashioned Paul Skeens. DeGrom, as the kids would say.
And it's year by year, right? How can you then stay healthy and do that next year? But that trade for the Marlins and the O's could really work out extremely, extremely well. Time will tell, but Trevor Rogers this year in 2025 looked like the guy with the promise back in 2021, where he was an all-star. And if he wasn't banged up a little bit back then, he probably would have taken home the Rookie of the Year, and people would have been talking about him of being one of the new bright stars in the pitching department in baseball. But I digress. We're into 2025, and we are rocking and rolling. And speaking of future stars of the game, that's a good time to go tie this one in, where the Orioles, despite all the negativity and the gloominess, they got a lot of young talent, man. They really do. What happens with that young talent moving forward, we will see. I think one of the biggest question marks, at least for the Orioles moving forward, is, well, what is the plan for the rest of the 2025 season? And when are we going to see 2 prospects that are literally, they got a hammer and they are smacking down the door ready to get called up? And that is Sam Basayo, top catching prospect in all of baseball, Orioles #1 prospect. And then Dylan Beavers, who is on an absolute tear. I believe he's the 3rd best prospect in the system, but he's playing like a guy possessed. Zach, he's been tearing it up, especially recently. And the question then becomes, after moving Cedric, when are we going to see the Beaver up here? And when are we going to see Sam Basayo start to make some noise in the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Beavers back-to-back games. When one of your top prospects is up in AAA ranking and he has a 2-home run game, people start to take notice. Then all of a sudden you add in the fact that he goes back-to-back games with 2 homers. It just genuinely feels like it is there is knocking on the door, there is pounding on the door, then there's whatever the heck Dylan Beavers is doing. There might not be a door by the end of, who knows, maybe by the end of tonight, if he goes 3 straight games. Then you have Sam Basayo. Dylan Beavers back-to-back games with 2 home runs, really taken away from Sam Basayo. Another multi-hit game, homers in back-to-back games. He's also spraying the baseball everywhere. Extra base hits, doubles, singles, RBIs. He's been unbelievable.
Yeah. I guess my question to that is, Rip, what else do these guys have to prove? What is the office look? Is it based off of them playing the ARB game? What
They'll be up here on August 15th.
I would say that has to be what it is, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing else that, in my opinion, and I don't get paid the big bucks to be a GM, nor am I a scout, but in my opinion, to my untrained eye, it doesn't look like they have much else to prove down there.
No, especially where the team's at right now, where you sold not as much as you sold the farm, the cows, and the horses and everything that the Twins sold, but you sold, 7 guys in whatever this deadline. This is what I hate about the business of baseball, because I cannot fault any front office in this case. If you are trying to, if there's a way where you think one of these 2 guys can be rookie of the year next year, or they can help you have team control for longer, you play that game. Why? Because that's the business of the game. And I hate that. And that's also why I think in a construction sense, I wish that wasn't the case. If the Orioles were in the race and they hadn't done it, and Beavers was playing this way with the injuries, I would say, screw it. You're going for the win no matter what. Go, do it. I still think those guys deserve to be up, right? But I just want to explain the business side. The business side saying, all right, let's wait a couple more weeks or a week, and then we'll make the move. But the player side in me is, are they ready? Did they earn it? Is there anything else that they can prove down in the minor leagues? No. Okay, do we have spots available where they can go and play up there every day in Baltimore? You're damn right. So part of the big thing for young players, though, is not rushing the development process. Like Beavers, for me, if they said tomorrow he's up and Sam isn't, that wouldn't surprise me, just because Sam's younger. You're really trying to make sure that you're grooming. You don't want to put pressure. But to your point, Brad, there is nothing left for them to prove. There isn't. And I would really love, when they do get the call up, I would love for them to play, if it's 7, if they play 6 games in a week, I want them playing at least 5. I want them to get as many big league at-bats as they could get to get comfortable, because they're going to possibly either be big parts of the team in 26, or you're going to find out what you need to get more in the offseason. Because imagine Beavers comes up and rakes, then you kind of have this outfield. You're throwing him into the equation. Sam, I think we have a pretty good idea of where he's going to be. Yeah. I think he gets run no matter what, but I think Beavers is where people are trying to figure out what type of prospect is he going to then become in the big leagues. I think Sam, they're like, well, dude, and I'm with them on this. I don't see Sam flopping at all. I don't see it whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's too talented, too young, and he's learning so quickly, which is mesmerizing to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just looking at some of the comments about Jeremiah Jackson. Yeah, he struggled in the outfield a little bit, but the kid's raking. He's played 6 games. He's batting .278. For somebody that just come up and just hit the ground running, I love Jeremiah Jackson right now. I think he's going to be an excellent addition, especially offensively, to the team. I think they're just putting him out in right field because they don't know what else to do with him at this point. But if you don't know what Jeremiah Jackson's doing right now, I don't know what to tell you. For a kid that's coming up, and
all he does is hit.
All he does is produce. I mean, we said this about Westy, but like Jeremiah Jackson is the truth out there. He's doing really good things. You should be pumped about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Zach.
I was going to say, and I think the part of it that people don't understand, where it's like, okay, Jeremiah Jackson, is he a part of the competitive 2026 Orioles? Is he a big part of it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's a utility guy. Maybe he's a guy off the bench and plays the Ramon Arias role. You have to know what you have, Rip, like you're saying. You need to know what you have in these guys. And this is a guy, he's not a prospect. It's not like he's a top-rated guy, but he's a guy who kind of turned it on in AAA this year and deserved the opportunity, and that's what he's getting. But the other thing, Jeremiah Jackson is hitting the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
It's what he's doing, and it's what he did all AAA. So when you look at that, okay, let's head into the offseason. Let's say he continues to do that. If I'm a rebuilding team looking to maybe the Twins, Jeremiah Jackson makes a trade package look a lot better, because all of a sudden, if he's another guy that you toss in with a upper prospect, and it's like, hey, we'll give you a Jeremiah Jackson and a lower prospect, that's a guy who could be your starting second baseman, third baseman, shortstop. Wouldn't really have him in the outfield as of this moment, but for another day. It only benefits the Orioles to see what they have in these guys, whether it's for them or whether it's, hey, these guys are producing well, they're showing some upside. another team might want him, and maybe you turn Jeremiah Jackson into a reliever, into a start, whatever it may be. But seeing what you have down the stretch for these months out of these young kids, out of these guys in AAA, can do nothing but benefit you in the long run.
Especially when there's opportunities available.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing. Look, the goal is you go out there and play. The goal is to see what you can do. But realistically, and this is why when you can get to the parts of the season, now that you've made the decision to sell, and it's not that you're saying, hey, we're punting on the playoff chances. You're not going to say that out loud, but your moves show you your actions. You are looking towards 2026.
Yeah.
And because of that, guys have to get out there and just see what they are capable of doing and figure out how they can do that. And by the way, people can't underestimate guys like Gunnar and Westberg and Kauser and even Adley, continuing to develop how to be a big league player. It all matters.
Yeah.
It all matters for all the players.
Mm-hmm.
But Kobe Mayo is a guy that I'm really looking at to get more of the run because I think that the upside for him is so valuable now position-wise.
I was just about to ask because this begs the question. Mounty's about ready to come back. So what does that rotation look like? We've already talked about how we felt as if Kobe Mayo wasn't getting the playing time that he probably should. And now you have Mountcastle that's coming up that could be taking up a lot of that first base spot. So then what do you do with Mayo? I honestly truly thought that Mounty could have been traded before the deadline. Obviously he wasn't. So then now what do you do with those two guys?
Well, I will say this, Ramon Arias not being on the team anymore actually frees up a little bit more variance.
Yeah.
Because it's requiring that Jackson, Gunnar, and Westberg have to play in the field more because the Orioles like to do hey, let's do a DH day. And so they would put one of those three guys in the DH spot to put Ramon in the field.
Yeah.
When you could have Mounty or Kobe or when Ryan O'Hearn, someone could DH. That's what they did. When Ryan Mountcastle and O'Hearn were on the team, it was one of those guys DH. Mounty would play first typically. But because there were so many injuries, Ramon was playing this year. Westberg was on the IL, and Jackson and Gunnar played the majority of time there in the middle of the infield. But you get my point with that. And
then you have Basayo that could come up, and then first base is real crowded.
Well, I think for Basayo catching, if you look at that, he catches 3 games. Adley
DH him
another day, and then Basayo can DH and play first a couple games. You can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You can. It just you're gonna have to commit to that plan.
Yeah.
If you're all right, we're getting 5 games this week for somebody. In the minor leagues, by the way, they have a matrix that they make of how many games guys are supposed to play.
Right.
They do the same thing in the bigs to an extent. And I think that that's what you have to do. You want to manage reps? Great. But let's factor in that these guys are getting at bats routinely, consistently, because that's how they're going to grow. And I would really hope for all these guys that they continue to grow here at the end of the season. Again, the record is not going to speak to the volumes of what it means for these guys up in the bigs. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah.
How they finish and how guys figure things out matter. You want to go back to Buck Showalter taking over the Orioles initially. The team was dog shit. They weren't going anywhere. They were bad. But down the stretch, did they play better with Buck? And they build a little confidence. And then the next year, and the next year, and then the next year, they built something.
Yeah.
That this Orioles team with these young guys can build off of what's been a negative year. Trevor Rogers, you don't think that this is valuable? Him proving to himself, not only the organization, but himself, damn, I'm pretty damn good. Oh, because the team's 11 games under? Yeah.
He said as much about fans, whoever, talking about how he was done, washed up. He comes out and back to all-star form. And he called people out on that. So good on him. But I agree with you. My only other question that is, you brought up Buck and the turnaround that they had because of Buck towards the end of the season. What's that look like for the organization? I know that we got other things to talk about, but since you brought this up, it begs the question, Manzolino at this point doesn't really feel like he's that guy.
No.
I mean, obviously that could change if they start to really win. But I just don't feel like that's that guy. So then it begs the question, well, then who is?
It's not going to be Buck.
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know you're not. For everyone out there, sorry, not going to be Buck, by the way. Buck.
I do think it could be or should be a guy like Buck who's very fundamental.
It should be
oriented. So if it's not Buck, and we know that it won't be, like, who could be comparable that's very fundamental oriented like Buck?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a coach that's been around for a long time but has never been a manager, but he's just been around for a while. But I do think that there is some risk given the circumstances of where the team is at and where they need to go. But also, if you bring a manager in, he's got to be able to manage and dictate what he wants to do on the field and philosophically, even on the field and off the field, right? So that's my thought. I don't have the names out there right now because I'll be honest, like, I know.
Well, yeah, I put you on the spot.
Jerry Harrison Jr. is saying Skip Schumacher. I think Bochy could be done after this year. If they sneak into the playoffs, they win again. Bruce is like, I just did it again. 1, 2, and 3 years. Bam, he's gone. And then Skip just goes right into Texas because he's kind of groomed there.
Yeah.
Terry Francona's over with the Red Sox. I'm trying to look around baseball with who's been off a team. I know people are going, what about Joe Madden? He's creative enough, but he's been out of the game. He's had a great reputation. Could he want to come back? Sure. But that's where it's going to have to be. Is it going to be this upcomer that is getting his first shot, but he is like, Ryan Flaherty's a popular name that pops around. Do you bring in a Ryan Flaherty-esque with all the pressure and you're trusting him to allow his fundamentals to be brought to this team? Or do you want to say, screw it, we're going to go with old reliable, whoever that is out there, to come in? And I just don't know what names on the old reliable side are out there specifically that are going to come into this situation.
My only other thing could be that maybe they don't do that and they hire from within, and there's always Buck Britton there where people have thrown that name around too.
I love Buck, and I hope he gets his chance as a manager. I just think that would be unfair to Buck next year.
Yeah.
Because
just doesn't have enough MLB experience.
Well, my thing is, it's like the same thing this year with Brandon Hyde and that staff. Chirinos, great dude. Manzo, awesome guy. And I think all these guys are great coaches. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You went into this year, and for Brandon Hyde's sake, you got rid of the most tenured coach in Freddie Gonzalez in a year where your team is now, you kind of like, it was a good story in 23, and then you proved that you were still a really good team. Like, you were still expected to be right there. And so you made some significant changes on your coaching staff, taking out Freddie, and the team really struggled. And that's not just because Freddie wasn't there.
Yeah.
But whoever you're appointing, I'm not going to go as this bold to say that jobs are on the line next year. But if the Orioles have a year like this, there might be a huge shakeup in the front office and with whoever is the manager next year. So I think whoever the manager that's getting brought in, I just think it would only be fair to a guy like Buck to have another year, because I think he's getting better and better with all of what he's doing. I just would hate for Buck Britton to be put in a situation where you're going, hey, Buck, you had great reputations in AAA, and that team doesn't play in the bigs or plays well. And they go, well, damn, Buck's not a good manager, because I think he is.
Yeah.
But the biggest question, Zach, is this team going to be fundamentally better? And do you have that guy that's coming in to make it better? That's what scares me. The Orioles in that Cup series, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, final game of that series, they have 2 earned runs in that game. 5 runs were scored. The Orioles lose 5-3 on a walk-off. That's a microcosm for what's gone wrong this year.
Yeah.
You need someone to come in that really has to change how this team plays.
Yeah, actually, I have a question just because Laura brings this up. I was going to say it earlier. I don't think maybe because he left, obviously, but would a guy like Freddie Gonzalez, I think almost someone like that and more experienced guy, because I'm going to be honest, I know I like to tweet about Ryan Flaherty being the Orioles manager because it's funny to me, but realistically, I've said before, this team needs a veteran. This team needs a guy that's been there, done that, because I think one of the biggest things you can talk about, the offense doesn't show up in the playoffs, all that. They've had winnable games. They have. I'm tired of going into the playoffs with this is everyone's first rodeo. Yeah. Not having a manager that's been there, not having a GM that's been there, not having players, these young core that have been there. None of those guys have won a playoff game. So give me some sort of manager, I think a veteran guy, old school guy that can come in, get these guys to be like, hey, here's what's happening. This is what to expect. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to approach this, and just kind of bring everything down, because I think there's so much pressure on everyone organizationally right now. Because, Brian, how many times have you said, if the Orioles went to the ALCS last year, this year's not as big. This is okay. Wow, got nailed by the injury bug. That sucks. Got to retool and be back next year. But because there's that cloud of, hey, you haven't done this in over 10 years. Hey, you have not gotten that playoff victory. It feels like there's more pressure when they get there. And I feel like a veteran guy who's been there and can kind of have them all calm down would do wonders for this squad.
I think it's very valuable. And if you look around the teams that have had success over the runs here, Dodgers, you can say they have a superstar team. Okay. Up until Don Mattingly, actually, until 2013 to 2015, I think was the time frame for Don.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers didn't have 3 consecutive years to the postseason or winning the division, whatever it was, until Don Mattingly, and that's the Dodgers in people's minds. Dave Roberts has done a tremendous job, and now I consider him like he's a full vet manager, and they've had all the pitching injuries in the world, and everyone go, well, Ryan, look at all the talent. Well, guess what? With all their injuries, they're still there. They're still there, and yes, it helps to have Ohtani and Freeman, and I know Betts isn't playing as well, but you have to have a manager that can handle the good, the bad, and the ugly. Kevin Cash with the Rays, they've been very successful. He's been there for a long time. Bruce Bochy with the Rangers, you saw them come into Baltimore. You saw them go and win in Houston. You saw them go and win the World Series against Arizona. Aaron Boone's been around, gets a lot of criticism. Yankees have still won a lot. They broke through to the World Series last year. So you're right, veteran managers. The only one that was different last year, Stephen Vogt was the new guy on the block.
Yep.
And then that's the part of the question here is, do you take a risk and find the next Stephen Vogt, who he was ready for it, wise beyond his years, perfect fit, and the Guardians had a great year. And I think
such a good dude.
He's a great guy. And so there are guys out there like that, but with this pressure for this team, you would have to be in love and so enamored by the candidate that it supersedes every other conversation, because everything keeps getting linked back to, can you handle what happens? Because the Orioles, if we thought expectations and pressures were tough for 25, 26 is taking a whole different level of expectations. And I hate that for the guys, but that's the reality. You didn't win this year. You felt the heat. If you don't win next year, well, new group comes in or you make decisions, people could lose their jobs. And now it's not even on the front office. Players aren't playing well in the next year.
Right.
They're evaluating, okay, well, do we have the right pieces in place? That's where it's going to get to in 2026. You need someone that is going to help calm all that down. We don't have that answer today, but we do know that it can be yada, yada. I see Toxic Tom, what you're saying, and also seen a lot of the comments. The Dodgers spend money, don't shy away from free agents or trading prospects, apples to oranges. The funny thing is that everyone was ripping the Dodgers organization until they won in the COVID year. Like everyone, this organization sucks. They don't win enough. Oh, and now they've won 2 championships now in 5 years, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, they signed Ohtani. Great. But the Dodgers have been good for decades.
Yeah.
The Yankees have won World Series in 16 freaking years. And they've been to the World Series once since they won that last year against the Dodgers. The Mets have gone once over this time. They're playing well right now. I know the big markets spend. No doubt the big markets put their money where their mouth and spend. Not going to dispute that. But I look around at those teams, and they either have great veteran leadership, they do have star power, or they have a manager there that fits. Philly is the only one where they had Rob Thompson, hadn't been a manager before, right? And or having his opportunity. They fire Joe Girardi and the team's humming. They go on a roll. But also, didn't the Phillies have a very veteran team that took a lot of accountability, that went out there and did their thing?
Yep.
Yeah, they did. Who else was I going with this?
The talent on the Phillies is ridiculous.
And it was. So, the veteran part. So, Zach, goes to your question. Are there guys on this team right now where you go, oh, they can really lean on that player? Through all the shit that happens, this guy's going to help us weather the storm.
I don't think so.
I could name 5 on the Phillies.
Right.
I could name 5 or 6 on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
We have some conversations about all of this. And actually, that'll be part of the Legends. For the whole Shirts and Pants, you'll get a preview of that sit-down we had with Don Mattingly. And Don was saying stuff about, along the lines, you need to find the right pieces to the puzzle for your team.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to find what their roles are going to be. Shocker on that. That is my thing with Baltimore. I don't think the roles have been figured out. And there isn't enough. The guys love each other. It's a good culture that's there. But there's something still missing.
Yeah, who is the anchor on that team? I don't know if you really can say without a shadow of a doubt there's one guy that is an anchor on that team that guys can lean on, like you said. I'm not sure who that could even be. Maybe it's Westberg. That's kind of the first knee-jerk reaction. If somebody asked me who it could be, maybe it could be that guy. But so far, it's been really difficult to see who that might be.
And I think the fact that we have questions like this, and I love all these guys, by the way. You guys know this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't mean this in any knock of it, but when you ask the question, who is the true leader in the clubhouse?
I couldn't tell you.
We can go around these teams. Okay, let's go to the Phillies. Who we got for the Phillies?
I mean, there's
that's a Schwarber.
Schwarber, Bryce Harper. There's even on the rotation, Zach Wheeler. There's so many guys.
Exactly. Go to New York. Who they got?
Aaron Judge.
That's their guy.
Yeah.
Revolves around everything. Let's keep going. Boston, they traded away Devers, and they've had different pieces. They're kind of like a by committee, but who's their manager who's been there for a while?
Core. And I mean, you could even say Garrett Crochet got Alex Bregman. I see so many videos of Alex Bregman taking the young guys under his wing, posted, after every at bat, even when he was injured, he would talk to every single young kid after their at bat, good or bad, and just walk them through it. So I think Alex Bregman. It doesn't have to be a guy that's been there forever. A guy like Alex Bregman can be that guy.
Yep. And you can go rest of the division. The Blue Jays, Vlad Guerrero Jr. signs the big deal. He's been around now in the league for a little bit, but he's still a young guy.
On the
Kevin Gausman on the pitching side. They have Don Mattingly as the bench coach with John Snyder, and they've underperformed as a team. But this year, I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. has even had more of an impact as a leader.
Yeah.
And I think that's made a huge difference. I mean, that's the part I try to bring to the essence of the game. Like, we can just look at the X's and the O's. And when you come to the Ryan Ripken show, we're going to break this down because it isn't all about that. It's not about, how well can you hit this ball constantly? No, how do you get the damn job done?
Mm-hmm.
And who's in this building enough that can make this happen? That's why the funniest thing in baseball is the teams that you least expect can go out there and kick ass because they don't have a care in the world. They play with no fear, and they know what they're doing. And that's what the Baltimore Orioles were in 23. No fear, didn't know what the hell they were doing. That works until it doesn't.
You brought up something to me, and it just made me kind of like a full circle moment for what we've been talking about in the show. But like Cal Raleigh firing his manager so he could stick with the Mariners and maybe take less money for it. What does that do for a clubhouse? What does that do for a team to kind of show, be like, look, I'm here for the long haul. I want to be on this team. And I think that's definitely what's missing. Just one of those, again, just another example of an intangible that provides leadership to a team. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, it is intangibles. And I'm seeing with this and not saying it's unfair to judge less than a week later. This was before.
Oh, yeah.
This has nothing to do with this year.
This is not recency bias here.
No.
Yeah.
In 2023, it was how much Kyle Gibson meant to the team and Adam Frazier and James McCann.
Yeah.
But even after the fact, you had James McCann last year. You bring in Corbin Burns. Just because you have veterans doesn't mean that it sticks and becomes what you want.
James McCann took a nose to the face and kept playing.
Yeah.
And like
foul ball right to the nose. Yeah.
Ball to his face. And like it's that kind of shit. We haven't seen any of that since then, right? So or at all this season. So I think these are fair questions to ask.
And again, this is not that they don't have guys that love each other and that they don't go to work. Those guys work their ass off.
Yeah.
Those guys can play. They're good. They care. They will play hard. It's not about that. It's more so of just what you're seeing and evaluating around with other teams. When you're talking about a foundation that's being set, I think that a foundation hasn't been set for this nucleus yet, as a group.
Yeah.
Adley, everyone thought it was Adley for a little bit, and when he plays well, the team usually plays well.
Yeah.
But Adley's not a very vocal guy. It's no knock to him. It's just not his style. Is he respected and loved in the community and the team? Damn right he is. So all this is not to judge any of what they're doing. It's just to have a deeper conversation of what are things that fans want to see. They want to see extensions. Why? They want to see players be here for a long time. And why is that? Those players then become part of something here that you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down here. What are the Orioles trying to build? And it usually starts with the culture that you're creating. Players have come in and talked about how much they've loved being in that clubhouse. The next step is, how do you love being in that clubhouse and you go and have the results when things don't go your way? Because here's the reality, guys. Hate to break this to you. The Orioles are going to have more injuries. They're going to have more guys that are going to have down years. How do you right the ship when it doesn't go your way? That is what I'm going to be watching for moving forward. And I'm glad that went into a deeper conversation than we hoped.
No. Yeah.
But this is why we do it.
Right.
We have slow days in this part of the year anyway. So if you like that and you like this.
These are just fun questions.
Yeah. If you like that, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show, we do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And I see the love on Facebook, and I see you guys in the chat in YouTube and X. And for our channel members, appreciate you guys. If you want to join and become a part of the group, click that join button. You can be a Rips Good Kid, or you can be a Holy Shirts and Pants member, where we have some other things off the cup, like Rip After Dark, where we have these conversations, but they get a little nuttier. And really off the rails. And I mean fully off the rails. So hence Rip After Dark. So we got that, and we have the free Discord that's available. We can put that link in there, Zach, later on in the show.
Yeah.
Do that. If we take a trip to West Virginia, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. 6 for 6 recently, so
wow.
They let the kid get hot. Don't let the kid get hot,
but why don't we take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollow Casino Charlestown Races in
West Virginia.
Nice, Zach. Beautiful.
Yeah, great job, Zach.
Thanks. I tried.
Really good, but apparently you're doing really good, bud. 6 for 6.
Yeah. What can I say? What can I say? It's just it's one of those streaks. We had to right the ship after 0 for 10 or 0 for 9. So we're trying to slowly get back to even. Just one day at a time.
So where are we going now?
We're going back to Boston. Jarren Duran, absolutely on fire recently, 2+ bases. Just let's make it simple. Let's get it done in the first few innings. Let's go to 6 for last 6, 7 for last 7. Let's just move on. That's it. Simple. Let's lock it in. Jarren Duran, 2+ bases. Locking it in.
Lock it in.
Same with the Sox. It's a good day for Red Sox fans.
Yeah.
Keep rocking and rolling in under 3 seconds. How about this? When I move, you move, Zach.
Just like that.
See, that was like 1 second right
Yeah,
there.
that
Are you
was
kidding me?
That was probably the best one we've ever had.
You know what? I can always get better. But if you are feeling what Zach's doing, and you want to tail him or fade him, your choice. ESPN Bet's got a new deal going. Bet 10, you get $100 back in bonus bets. Plus, you get ESPN Plus for 30 days. But you must be 21 years or older. And if you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or our friend, Rocco DeSangro, with all your issues. But we appreciate our friends up at Hollywood Casino. We'll be up there week 1 of the NFL season, fellas. There's a couple great guests that are coming. I don't know if I can fully reveal them yet, but if you are a Washington fan, you'll recognize this player from the past. If you're a Baltimore fan, definitely was a huge part of the Ravens offense back in the years where passing wasn't a thing. So I'll leave it with that hint right there. But September 7th, we'll see you on up there at Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races in West Virginia.
Nailed it. Woo.
Great job, everybody.
Are you just going to keep getting longer and longer with that?
Maybe. I think it can draw it out here.
Few weeks where it's taken over 2 minutes to just get through it.
Afternoon delight. Woo! Woo! You know, guys, I'm a big movie guy and a big music guy. We know this. Yesterday, Brad, we talked about, so for tomorrow's show, can prep you. We are going to list Will Ferrell's top 5 movies.
Oh,
yeah. It's going to be hard.
Oh my God. I don't know how you do it.
So that's a challenge.
Okay.
Challenge. So we're having that. And then we're actually going to look at Adam Sandler. So do we save Adam Sandler for next week? It's a tall task. It's a tall task.
Do we do like a Thursday thing where every Thursday we have a movie ranking or, an actor ranking thing?
Because it's Throwback Thursday?
Yeah, let's do that tomorrow. Throwback Thursday. But you know where Afternoon Delight is from? What movie, Zach?
Oh, no. Afternoon Delight. I can picture him singing it. Oh, my gosh.
When everything's a little clearer in the night of the day. Hey,
oh, my gosh. Oh, it's is that Step Brothers?
Nope.
No.
Wow. No.
Oh, mister, I've watched these movies.
I know. Everything goes together after a while. Oh, it's just Anchorman.
Mr. Burgundy.
Yeah.
We'd be honored if you played from some Yaz flute. Afternoon delight. I'm going to go coffee. Yeah. I'm going to go get a drink right there.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Stings the nostrils. I need to get some Sex Panther in here too. That's what we need. That's how we really spice it up in here. What a great movie. What a great movie. We like to have some fun. I was getting up like I was trying to get my golf game going again. I played a little bit earlier today, Zach. It didn't go well.
How'd the game look? It didn't look good.
Actually, I had a couple pars. I was knocking around. Then the 8th hole happened is when I found out the Roman Anthony extension.
Oh, yeah.
Your boy went the bunkie. And he didn't leave the bunkie. So, I was like, well, this is great. I was only going to play 9. And then the next hole, phone's still blowing up. And I go, you know what? I'm just going to pick this up. Put the ball right in the fairway and then just absolutely chunked it. And then chunked it into a bunker. And I went, you know what?
You still got a wicked slice?
Oh, yeah, it's still going there.
Oh, yeah.
I played decent on the back 9 the other day.
As long as you know how to play, it's all that matters.
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you, the hands were pretty good until the 8th hole. And then it just fell all apart.
Yeah.
Fell to shit. You know what? And it's like watching pro golfers, I get a lot of appreciation for how the hell they do that so well.
Yeah.
And it reminds me because next week then, right? Coming to Caves, BMW Championship's coming up here. They shot a minus 23. They were 23 under. DeChambeau and Cantley. 23 under. And at that course,
another day on the course for me.
I think oh my gosh. You did not just say that. How are you as a golfer?
Atrocious. I've golfed 3 times in my life. And the first time I went I literally went to the range for like 2 weeks prior to get ready because I was like, okay, found out my clubs were much shorter. Like it was like, oh, it's an inch shorter than it should be. Did not realize how big of a difference that truly is.
Oh, yeah.
First hole, club driver in a tree. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, driver and a tree, and it did not get better from there.
Yeah, it's actually where Brad and I met was on a golf course.
Yeah.
We actually played decently well. I don't think was Nick playing.
We
with
did
us?
all right.
Did Nick play with us?
No, it was Bobby Tross.
No, but there's somebody else too.
Oh, we went.
Oh, it was my buddy.
That was it was your boy. We played with Nick Moore at the other tournament for Christian.
That's right. Where Nick was being like, I'm this great golfer, and then I'm like, where the hell is it all the time, dude?
That was a good time.
That was a good time.
Nick's a good time to play golf with.
Nick's a good time when you see him.
Yeah, if he ever comes around again, that'll be great.
Yeah, that's a big if. I guarantee you, though, if death taxes and if golf's involved for Nick Moore or to watch, he'll be there.
Yeah.
Because the Savannah Bananas were in town, right? He went.
Yep.
No doubt he's going to be at the BMW Championship. But if you guys want to go to the BMW Championship, it's next week. It is next Thursday. They have practice rounds starting, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday, which are like $30 for a ticket to go. But then they have tickets going from Thursday to Sunday. It's the FedEx Cup standing, so the golfers have to qualify, and it's probably going to be the best in the world. And for military members, thank you for your service, past or present. If you say you're a military member or can prove it, you get complimentary access into it, which I think is amazing. And if you have a kid under 15, you buy an adult ticket, that kid can come with you because they're all about growing the game here. That's amazing. But go to BMWchampionship.com. I need to get better at the game of golf. And you guys, maybe you'll see an example of me making a fool of myself here soon.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Or maybe Zach.
Why is it that our sponsors love to do that to you?
What? Okay, I'm an athlete, by the way.
Price of admission.
I know this, but you're not a boxer. You're not a golfer.
Because you know what? I'm trying to prove to people you can go out there and do it. It don't matter how it looks.
Oh, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. But I just feel like, they might get a little kick at making you look silly sometimes.
You know what? You guys know me. I think that we are too serious all the damn time about all types of things. I got no problem with someone ribbing me because I'll be honest, when I played my entire baseball career, people were ribbing me anyway.
I was going to say.
Like, oh, you suck. Oh, great. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Good to see you. I got 3 hits this game. Great. Hey, you suck. You're not going to live up to it. All right. 0 for 5 with 4 punch outs. Disgrace to the family. Well, I might be today. That was tough. My biggest accomplishment is that 5th at bat, I had some firewood. So at least some kid's going home with a souvenir,
I swear to God, if you wanted to change careers and just do some stand-up, first of all, the brick back here would be perfect for that.
Brick, oh yeah, slap it on.
But you got some stories.
Oh, I got some stories. One of those, I think I told you guys this, but it was at a wedding I was at recently, and I got chirped a lot with every sport that I played. But basketball, is actually the sport where I can get chirped, but I can kind of be like, I could play a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had some stats to back that up. So we were at the wedding, and I met this guy, he's a cool dude. And I think I told you we're finishing up dinner. And he goes, hey, man, I want to apologize to you. And I go, why do you want to apologize? Like, you played my high school. I want to apologize because we just absolutely shredded you when you came to play there. I'm like, oh, what were you saying? He said, I don't want to repeat it. I'm like, let me guess, daddy's boy and you suck and blah, 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 blah. He's like, yeah, worse than that. I'm like, okay, deal. And I go, where'd you go? And he's like, yeah, I went to St. Mary's. I go, what year? And he's like, yeah, it was our senior year. We're seniors. I go, oh, cool. I said, the only time I played at St. Mary's our senior year was once. I said, whatever it did, it worked for me. I dropped 42 on your ass. And he goes, ha ha, you probably had a good game. I go, no. This is my one moment where I'm going to boast. Go search Ripken perfect from field, and you'll find it on Yahoo because they did an article on it.
Yeah.
Your boy went 15 from the field and had 42 points. I had 2 missed foul shots. It's the only misses of the game for me. Funny thing was, I never could shoot a lick there. I sucked when I used to play there. If I suck it, I still average 15 points. But I couldn't hit a shot because it's a low gym. And for some reason, I missed every shot in warm-ups, and then your boy didn't miss one during the game.
Huh.
So, yeah.
So crazy. All I heard was 2 missed free throws. They're free points. They're free points, brother. Brother, they're free points.
You know what that
Oh,
reminds me
pick
of?
44.
Just remind me when we talked to Matt Holliday about how much of a hard time Ryan gave him that he would hit 299 for his career.
Yeah.
What let him live it down?
Yeah. Hey, Zach, you want to look it up too? And you can see a really great photo of me. It's the first article. Absolutely
Is
perfect.
it the one where you're super sweaty after? Because didn't Rocco bring that one up a while ago?
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of super sweaty photos. Zach, when you play basketball, you sweat. And when
Well, yeah, but it's the one where you look.
game, Zach, you're going to be tired.
Here we go. Yeah, it is that one.
Yeah, it's a famous.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rocco used to bring that up every other day.
Yeah,
I like how Rocco wants. Oh, that game also is not there. I did have a really good game in that background. That's not where I had the game.
Oh.
Is that a hot pick of me, though? Kind of, let you guys be the judge. How do we get to this part of the show? We still have more to talk about here. Hey, Tom, you know what? I'm sorry. Hip, hip, parlay. Don't bet on this kid. Unless you want to.
When you get to the dog days of summer, these are the types of conversations you get to.
This is also imagine this, and this is what we do on Rip After Dark on steroids.
Oh, yeah.
On steroids. So hopefully you guys are a part of that. It is a lot of fun. The last baseball news before we get to sports news in the NFL, which I know everyone of our baseball fans calm down. We've always said we're going to talk about baseball or football because baseball is going to end here soon. But don't worry, we have a lot of things planned for baseball moving forward. But football is also half of our coverage on the year, and we'll dive into it. But the biggest news, again, off the field is what ESPN did, where they just spent a lot of money to acquire some big assets. But last news for baseball, history is going to be made on the umpiring side.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And do we have that actual article that we could pull up? Because
I can do it real fast.
I don't want to butcher the name. I might end up doing this in the process there. But Jen Powell is going to be the first woman to umpire a regular season MLB game. She's getting the call up, which I think is awesome. That is tremendous. Welcome to getting scrutinized left and right as an umpire in Major League Baseball, right? But I think that's just really cool that this is something where we get to see history getting into 2025. And quite frankly, especially in baseball, and especially when you're looking at this, it's opportunity, and it's been sometimes really hard to break through. And this is not just from a man or woman's perspective. Being an umpire, we talk about the grind of an umpire. Brad, I had guys that I passed in the minor leagues that stayed another level to try to keep moving. So it's a huge accomplishment, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity that she's going to have. It's tremendous for the game and growing it. But, yeah, that's the part. I don't envy being an umpire in any regard because – let's just say you don't make a right call to some of these guys. Well, they'll let you know. They'll let you know a little bit differently in the big leagues than they do in the minors.
I'm with Toxic Tom here. I have no idea who wants to grow up and be a referee or an umpire.
I don't get it.
You have to be an absolute psycho. To your point, Tom. You have to be insane to want this job. I don't know what makes you or motivates you to do it.
It's a job where it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Because
you must have to be
you have to be perfect or everyone's going to hate you.
Yeah.
And it's a thankless job. Hey, thank you for calling a perfect game. No one ever, rarely are you going to get Zach Bollinger go, hey, I just want to let you know, were you umping the game last night? That was tremendous. It's expected.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
But if you mess up, it's going to be Zach going, hey, thanks a lot. You just cost my team, and this ruined my entire, not only dinner, but my entire evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even go, how many times have players been rung up on strike three calls that were the right call, and the umpire still gets crapped on, still has to toss three people because all of a sudden it's man, you can even make the right call. If it's just borderline and you get it right still, you're still getting ripped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the minor. I just remembered some of the minor league stories with umpires.
Tune in to Rip After Dark.
Yeah, we'll tune into more of those. Well, I'll share those when the lights turn down low and I put the glasses on. But guys, why don't we talk a little bit of this NFL news here? where, again, I'm not caring about what's happening with these battles in camp yet, because there's just so much going on, and we'll see how it all unfolds. What I will care about moving forward is how I'm going to draft in fantasy. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
And I'm also now, fantasying as a football fan, what are you going to watch on Sunday? You're going to turn on NFL Red Zone, probably, is what you're going to do. Or maybe you're going to be up watching NFL Network, getting you ready for your Sundays. But of course, you're going to be ready to getting ready with us on Sundays this fall. Just saying. But guys, now it's a whole new twist, because ESPN just acquired NFL Network and NFL Red Zone from the NFL, in exchange for that the NFL now will have 10% stake in ESPN, right? Like, that's the deal.
Yep.
Shirts and pants, Brad, maybe you can go into this. I know you had some thoughts to start.
It's bad. I think that lots of conflicts of interest here. Not a big fan of this at all. And I don't know what it does for the rest of media. This feels like a monopolistic type of move that really shouldn't happen, in my opinion. I mean, this is like ABC and NBC merging together and just becoming one network. I don't really like it, and I think that this is gonna cause a lot of problems. I foresee Red Zone now having commercials. I hope it doesn't happen.
They're having commercials.
But I did hear that Roger Goodell had made mention. So he says that ESPN obviously purchased rights to Red Zone, allowing them to use the format for other sports. Including a potential Red Zone style broadcast for college football, which would be massive.
That'd be massive.
I think there's better ways to do that. If you're Red Zone, you buy rights to certain things or whatever, but like, to just go ahead and partner together this way and have stake in something, to me, this is just not good for football. It's not good for the viewers. Now you're going to probably now for the fans, I should say, because now you're going to potentially have to pay subscriptions to watch certain thing for certain, not just the whole entire season, like an NFL Sunday ticket thing, because we already see that even if you buy a Sunday ticket, you still have to subscribe to Peacock to watch that game on there. Then you have to subscribe to Prime to watch that game on there. Apple TV is probably going to be in that mix as well. So, like, where do we go from here? I don't like it. I think it's going to be bad for fans. We're going to have to shell out more money just to watch a game.
Yeah. What does it mean for every other services? I saw Nomadic Brian just say, I got NFL Plus, which has Red Zone. So does that change over? Like, it's all going to fall under ESPN's. I want all of the details with everything that comes out. I don't blame ESPN for saying, hey, we're going all in, because big networks, you're looking how the landscapes have changed. Yeah, you're trying to keep up. So if you can buy into the NFL, which the NFL is the largest sports league in the U.S., right? And it's humming for as far as financially with how much they bring in. Yeah, it's a huge investment. And if you can bring that talent over, great. But to your point, is one thing controlling more better or worse?
Not to mention the criticisms that you saw on a lot of ESPN shows. Pat McAfee doesn't have a filter. Like, does he start to get, silenced a little bit because now the NFL is in on this? Does Stephen A. Smith not get to criticize as much because now they're in partner together? Like, it just smells bad to me.
Well, I think that the guys are still going to speak their mind. I really do, because they now just have a small stake in it, right? I think that people have to speak what they want to speak on. John Boy Media, Zach, is one that comes to my mind. They just partnered with MLB on facets of, production, content, etc. John Boy rips, whether it's the Yankees, whether it rips whoever it is. So, Zach, like, I maybe I'm not as worried about that side of it. I think I just love the variety of what networks bring, right? Like, I love what CBS does and who they have for games. I love Fox. I'm still trying to get on board with Netflix. It's Amazon's grown on me over the last couple of years. Take out the payment part. That's a whole other issue. But Zach, I mean, do you have as much concerns with that? Because I still see them discussing, is Lamar Jackson not worthy or an MVP in week 2 on ESPN. I think that we're still going to see those conversations regardless.
I mean, I'm just more scared about what's going to happen. Like Brad said, I'm sure Red Zone will have commercials, but you can pay to get commercial lists. It'll be something like that. I don't like NFL partnering with ESPN because of the simple facts of, do I think the things like Lamar and that we're going to get everyone to speak their minds on that stuff. But it's when something happens. It's when, this big stuff with the Players Association, things like that. All of a sudden, maybe something happens with an owner. I don't think you see that stuff on ESPN anymore. If something is legitimately bad, I don't think if the Deshaun Watson case happened right now, I think that gets talked about less. They try to more I just don't like having ESPN in the NFL. I know I've seen other people talk about now, because of ES or the NFL having 10% stake, that also means stuff with ESPN Bet. The NFL is now benefiting from gambling.
Yep.
So it just feels like a lot of marriage between things that we didn't need a marriage between. Like, keep the reporting and the analysis separate from the game. If you want to go see the NFL stuff, go to NFL Network. Like, that was what it was for. It just feels like it's making it, there's too many people trying to get together right now that I feel like it's like, let's just keep this separate. Kind of like Brad was saying, it's like, I don't think that this is really the best move we're getting the best analysis now, no matter what we talk about. I think there's some conflicts in interest at times. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. It's happening, but it'll be interesting.
If that happens, who I think it does benefit? Creators like us.
Yeah.
They want something different.
I agree.
They're not hearing the same thing all the time. I think creators like us could benefit if it turns out to be a bad product or turns into a bad product. I think we could definitely benefit from something like that. People don't want to continue to just sit in the echo chamber all day long.
Yeah, I think the new day and age of how people get their content and where they get it from and who's involved in that process, I believe that all the sports networks are looking at how do they better their own production. And when I mean production is their network, their base. And Disney, ESPN's parent company, like, they're looking at how the hell do we get more skin in the game, essentially? How do we really stay ahead of it? So they went with, let's just give boatloads of money. And then it's probably going to be some trial and error with what they do. And before that, though, they did bring on Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee Show because they wanted to be a little bit more bold. And for College Game Day, they hired then Pat, and Pat's been obviously polarizing. I love him on game day. Some don't love him on game day, and that's fine. But they are trying to be with it. It's just all these things happening at once. And then our friend of the show, Adam Rank, who works for NFL Network, because he's also a big wrestling fan, he tweeted out this earlier because the ESPN also then got the rights for direct-to-consumer work with the WWE when it comes to premium live events, including WrestleMania. So Adam Rank at the top of the screen right there says, do I report to Triple H now, who runs WWE? So it is it's something. We got to get Adam on here going into the fall for some fantasy football. And I'd love to hear him talk about a little bit of wrestling as well, but it's a lot of moves happening here, guys. A lot of moves happening. I just want to see how it all shakes up, but I don't blame ESPN what bit. You're looking at an investment. Well, you put your money where your mouth is. Now we'll see how the rest of the world reacts to it and how good the product is. If you give the people what they want, then people will shut up. But product's not good and they don't feel like it's being authentic, then people are going to lash out and you're going to know real damn quick.
I was already getting annoyed with ESPN because you turn on ESPN any time of the day and it's football or basketball. That's all it gets talked about. And now it's just even going to get it worse. You have to go to somewhere else, the Ocho, I guess, to see anything else that's not football or basketball related. So I just hate the move all the way around.
I mean, I'll give ESPN credit. It's genuinely impressive how many times a week they can debate LeBron or Jordan.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. I swear every other day you turn on First Take and there is some mention of LeBron legacy, Jordan legacy. Is Tom Brady the GOAT? I'm like, can we talk about what's happening? Can we talk about training camp? Can we go over something? It's the same stories every day. So I just hope it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
I miss when you could go to ESPN for analysis, highlights, and actually like the stories you want, not just, hey, do you think Jordan, LeBron, or Brady is the GOAT?
The problem is when they do talk about training camp, they pull up footage from last year and try to make it some other player that isn't actually that player. I mean, this is where it is with ESPN. It's just crazy.
I miss the days of waking up Sports Center because I love Sports Center, the old Sports Center. I also will say I love Scott Van Pelt. I'm a huge Scott Van Pelt fan, and I love watching SVP at night and how they do the bad beats. As I've gotten older, I've appreciated it because that still brings back some of those memories of his style and aura, how it was back then. You miss those moments. You miss those. That's what people want.
Dude, SVP's midday radio show got me through the day, years ago when he did that.
So good, man.
Yeah.
So good. We'll find out. I mean, honestly, though, I might have to watch more of ESPN, the Ocho. If they have underwater chess and cat jujitsu.
Yes. And they have competitive puzzle building.
Oh, we would suck at that.
500-piece puzzles. These people get them done.
Would be horrible.
30 minutes. It's insane.
We
Some of the crap that was one I caught. It was after Formula One a couple weeks ago. It was tabletop hockey championships, it's like tabletop hockey.
Shoot. Air hockey? Not air hockey.
Air hockey.
It's like the guys, you move them around.
The actual. I know what you're talking about.
But it's so great at the same time.
Yeah.
You have to push it instead of actually smacking it because it gets stuck on the skate.
That was on the Ocho the other day.
Oh, what a game. What a sport. We could talk about that for the longest time.
Yeah.
We really could.
Yeah, cornholes on the Ocho all the time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You know what? We could, because ESPN 8 goes back to dodgeball for me. We could create a dodgeball.
Oh, 1,000%.
We could have a really nice dodgeball space.
Oh my goodness. We could put the tables to the side.
Yeah.
And the pool table, we're going to have to play it as it lies. Whoever's on that side can have a fort, I guess, kind of. Or we just move the Papa Shot and the couches, and then you got to stay within the parameters. Okay, yeah, test the fastball. That might be advantage me.
Yeah.
I am in. We're doing that. We're doing that, by the way. And I also saw right here earlier, do you all play Dynasty or Redraft leagues for fantasy football? We do. We all do. I do Dynasty, and I do an old league.
I've never done Dynasty.
Oh, I got latched in from Dirty Mike or Big Mike Bauman and
Dirty Mike and the boys.
Dirty Mike and the boys, and I'm hooked. That's one league that I started with, and a couple of my other teammates, and I got the LLL is my league from back home, where that's been going for 15 years. But we do have we're going to do for our channel members, Holy Shirts and Pants members. I saw a question last night when we did a little check-in here in the studio. It was, can we be a part of the Holy Shirts and Pants League again? What if there's too many people? We'll just do multiple leagues for the Holy Shirts and Pants members. So we'll have that all together. We appreciate all that support. So we are doing it for that. We did some free leagues last year that weren't members, and Kevin honestly really spearheaded that. And Lord knows, I don't know how the hell he did it, managing 38 leagues or whatever he did, 25, something.
Yeah, he was in 22. He was in 20. He was the commissioner of 22 leagues last year.
That was insane. Insane.
I don't know how Kevin actually lives. I don't know how he survived.
I have no idea. Every touchdown benefited him in some league.
or hurt
him. Literally.
Can't do that.
You can't live like that.
I have a cutoff on that.
Yeah.
I have a cutoff. I have leagues that play with I have 2 full redraft leagues. Or my own league at home, we keep 2 guys each year, but there's rules. You have to draft them in the 4th round or later, and you can only keep them for up to 2 years. And then the other one, it's called Ripping the Bird Daddies, which was some of my teammates from the minor leagues. It's how we still keep connected throughout all the years. And then now the Holy Shirts and Pants leagues, and then the Dynasty. I can't do 15 leagues.
No.
Like right there, that's like 5. And I'm like, shit, it's tough. It's tough. But we will have more information on that as we move forward. Another NFL news, and this actually might be more important, and it does impact a lot of players.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, the NFL just banned smelling salts. Gone. No more. Brent Urban came back to the Ravens. And what got him ready to go? The smelling salts. George Kittle was a big fan of them. I think Baker Mayfield was on with Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show.
Our boy
talking about it.
Our boy Colin, who was the trainer for the Ravens, big fan of smelling salts. And now they're gone.
And they're gone. Zach.
So apparently I didn't do enough research or look this up as much yet, but apparently it was linked to, I guess, prolonging the effects of concussions. I don't know where the studies came from on this, but that's apparently why they're not allowing it.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's because after you take them, you feel like you can hit anything with your head and you're invincible. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure it does hurt concussions because those guys on special teams take them and they fly 1,000,000 miles an hour down the field looking for someone to hit.
Yeah.
It's tough. I like how George Kittle, he came in to talk about it during, I think, with NFL Network and said, I consider retirement. We all have to figure out a middle ground.
I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah.
It's that guy plays like he's on permanent smelling salts.
Yes.
That's how he seems every single time he's out there on the field. But, in all seriousness, it does get guys in the zone. It gets them awake. And Baker Mayfield,
that's what they're designed for.
Baker Mayfield said on the Up and Adams show, he said, end quote, now you just got to bring your own juice to the party. I'm going to be severely affected, to be honest with you. And I'm like, huh?
How do they test for
what
that?
juice are we bringing to this? We're bringing some apple?
Yeah, how do you test?
Amphetamine? That's not allowed,
Yeah.
No greenies, Zach.
Brad, like you're saying, how do you even tell? Like, is there someone on the sideline? Like, what did you just put up to your nose? Like, how are they filming sidelines?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can it go to your like a urine test? No,
there's no chance.
No
way.
We're to go to the tape. We'll go to the tape. Where were you?
Yeah.
Did you go in what did you do in the blue tent? Oh, I was getting my ankle taped. Oh, really?
Oh
gosh, that will be very, very interesting to see. But those, honestly, to me, guys, are the two big storylines. The NFL making a lot of deals with ESPN, and smelling salts aren't a thing. And I think we covered a lot here.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We didn't cover. What's the over under that a WNBA player on the Fever gets hit by another dildo today?
Yeah, what is happening over there?
I don't know.
It's a crisis. How is this happening?
It's
apparently
it's a pandemic almost.
Is Polymarket Sports a real thing?
No.
Okay.
No, but I did.
But I was going to say, because I thought it was hilarious. It said WNBA betting volume on dildos surpasses betting volume for who will win the game. I bet that if that was a thing, it probably would be true.
I mean, the thing that's crazy is that I think the first person who did it is, of all the things, that's what's thrown on the court.
Yeah.
Right? Am I missing like an inside joke that led to it? Just happened.
No,
then someone else is like, well, I'm just, you know what? It's either that you're purchasing one or you have one hanging around.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm good to get rid of this. Toss it in.
Yeah.
On like a safety thing, in all seriousness, like imagine someone actually got hurt with that. And then what's the reason? And you have to explain the reason of why it happened. Well,
yeah.
how do you describe that on a medical sense? Like injury related to plastic or rubbery toy. You know, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like it's
Well, and Sophie Cunningham got hit by one. It wasn't just like a hit the floor.
Yeah.
It hit her in the middle of the game.
I think I saw her tweet something out. I think it was
because she tweeted something to begin with, and then she got hit by one, and then she was like, "This backfired big time."
So that's what the tweet was. She goes, "Stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us." That was 5 days ago, and then she quote tweeted that this did not age well after the recent one came out.
I love Sophie Cunningham.
She is.
I love her.
She is. You know what? She's been really fun to watch. There's a lot of great personalities, a lot of great things that are growing with the game. And, you know, this is the crazy thing when it comes to like events like this, even like the smelling salts with the NFL, like no matter a storyline that comes up as stupid or as harmful as it can be, it gets talked about.
Yeah.
Like people are talking about this because it's so weird that of the items, Zach, do you have any that you wanted to throw?
It's definitely
oh
an
my
event.
God.
Something like that.
Isn't there rumor that there was a fourth one that never made it?
There was. They grabbed it from the stands.
I don't know. I don't even want to search how
And
much.
I just want to know if the dildos were related. Like, was that two people separately that were planning on getting their dildo hit in, or was it like a plan together?
Well, and why are they like nuclear green? Like,
I don't know. They're all green.
They're
like
picking.
Radioactive green is what they
I was gonna search on my computer about like
You
prices,
probably should.
and then I stopped myself. This is a work computer. All right. I don't need HR coming to me. I don't need HR coming to me to go, Ryan, we need to talk about this.
Who was the head of HR, by the way? Is that Kelly?
I don't know who that. You know, Kevin said he was HR, but I don't know where Kevin stands. Kelly, Lord knows. The llama, she is not going to be head of HR. She'll make one rule and then something else will happen. No, there he is. You speak of the devil. What if it's Kevin, actually?
He's all
how much did they cost? Can you look it up for me? How much is a green? I don't know. You know, are we foot long? I don't know.
It's probably it's got to be at least at 8 to 10 inches.
Are we talking about average? You know, I don't know.
Is it? Yeah, well, and you have to go for insertable length. What is it?
Oh gosh, now we're really. You know, I'm glad
You
I'm
got to
not
get in the
searching
weeds.
this.
Yeah. You start going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, this is. You know. Oh, I know. If I go on X, I know it's searching. It's just that's.
Oh yeah, X would be even worse than just Googling it.
Yeah,
You don't know what you're going to get on X.
you really don't. You really, really don't. And this is kind of where we got to for today. But that's in the world of sports.
Welcome to Rip After Dark, people.
Oh,
You
goodness.
think this is bad?
No, you just wait. You just wait until after. But if you don't want to wait, click that join button. We've had the episodes out for Rip After Dark already. You can go back and watch. We usually just go through a lot of clips that have already happened as well. Guys, I got some new GIFs that I got in the works that I'm really excited about unveiling.
Yeah.
And they're videos too. You know, we've used some of Rocco, and I'm really excited about some of the future ones I'm going to have because I love the Friday videos. I got to bring those back.
Yeah.
But it will be a lot of fun.
We do have to bring that.
We do have to bring those back. And yeah, I think that kind of wraps it. Also, while this show happened, Kittredge threw an immaculate inning for the Cubs.
Sure did.
Good for him.
Good bounce back after yesterday.
I liked it. Actually, Sophie Cunningham should have picked that up and signed it. Probably would go for a lot of money.
That actually probably would go for a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. You know, we honestly could have a whole segment on this whole situation because Nomadic Brian, where is it? Is it right out of the box? You know, is it?
It has to be right out of the box. Yes.
That's so.
It has to. There are so many questions that I have.
Yeah.
And this is what we like to end up doing, right? We like to have conversations. A lot of people, we love to talk about sports. If you're new to the show, Orioles, Ravens, we talk with legends of the game. We have great guests that join us, everything imaginable. And then we do this.
Yes.
So Rip After Dark, we only do this. So tune in for that.
Auction off for charity. Absolutely. It'd be like, the NFL breast cancer awareness they're big in the NFL for that. Should be like prostate cancer, just
all for good. Like the Chesapeake Bay Sox turned oysters into something else, and they.
I'm so upset they got rid of that completely.
Should have just kept it all the same.
They should have,
but they did. They wanted to make it a good deed,
and they did that too.
And they made a good deed out of that. Forgot what else I was going to say with the show.
That's because I talked over you.
No, you're good. It wasn't the immaculate inning. Well, it was the immaculate inning, and then there was something else I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot to continue to discuss, but guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. And also, I want to say shout out Merit Clubs again. They've been a lot of fun. We're going to have so much more going on in the community. That's one thing we're pushing towards as we go into the fall, which includes game day experiences, as well as going out into the open and doing more at Merit Clubs and beyond here in Baltimore. And also, by the way, guys, Merit Clubs, they have an offer for each month, but as the summer's winding down, they didn't offer it, or apparently they did before, but it was really expensive. But they said, screw it. Summer's ending. You still want to get a workout in. They have month-to-month options that are the same rate as the full year-length ones. So it's a huge discount for a price. So I'm just sending out the good word. If you are interested in that with Merit Clubs, their month-to-month are the same as their year rate, and you can save hundreds of dollars. So if you're a fitness guy, or you like to be by the pool, or heck, Brad, you just like to, I don't know, go get the smoothies, go sit in steam rooms or saunas. I don't care, whatever you want to do. Take some classes, Zach. Now they got the best rate you can possibly have, and they got a great opportunities for us to give away more to our community because they have been great to us and we have been great to them. So we appreciate you guys. And that's all I got. Any other thoughts, concerns, questions?
If you want to continue the party, we'll be going live for Kevin and Zach react to the Orioles win at like 4:45. So if you want to keep this thing rolling after we hop off here, head on over to Kevin and Zach react to talk about this Orioles game.
And they're back on the win column. They're back in action.
So back, baby.
So back. All right, Brad. Should we cue the music?
When everything's a little clearer
in the light of day. And we know the night is always going to be here anyway.
Good night, people.
Thank you, some of you working on my app.